Want to come match me?
To the body, then I turned southpaw at the body, then the guy fell. Me. I don't gotta beat nobody else. I came out, I threw a couple jabs, and then a hook to the head, then a hook to the body, then the guy fell. He got back up. Then I turned southpaw, then I hit him with a hook to the head, hook to the body, then another uppercut to the body, and that was it.
No one that can match me.
In my first year, I fought 8 times. Then my second year, I fought about I think 10. And then now.
All right, and we are live. What is up, YouTube boxing family? It is I, K-Rod7435. We back at it with another amazing show of Fighter Ratings number 7 with the one and only Mr. Jaron Boots Ennis. This is going to be a good one. I definitely wanted to do Jaron Ennis for quite some time, but obviously y'all voted it up inside the poll, so I got to give you guys what I am doing. So first of all, I just want to say salute to anybody that comes in, in the chat. But also the link is there if you guys want to come in and chop it up with me. This is open panel, so if anybody that is interested that wants to do fighter ratings with me, feel free. And we'll go from there. But this is pretty much it with what we got. So let's get right into it. Jaron Ennis is a current welterweight fighter at the 147-pound division. He is 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach, born and raised out of the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the United States of America. Jaron Ennis is listed to be an orthodox fighter, but naturally he is a switch hitter. So most to a high standard, he's basically a southpaw. But BoxRec wants to list him as orthodox, but I would list him to be a natural southpaw because he's always started at that stance. But that's pretty much what he's been doing for most of his career. If you look back at his earlier fights, Jaron Ennis is 24 years old. His nickname is Boots. He started his career in 2016 on April 30th. Oh wow, that was on my birthday. Wow. But he's pretty much had a pretty good stellar upbringing in his career. Just kept himself very active throughout the entirety of the year, and ever since then, he's just been doing what he had to do. He is currently ranked, I believe, top 3 in all sanctioned bodies, if I'm not mistaken. So he is very, very close to a world title shot, if not next, to be the mandatory for either one of those belts. But I think primarily he is a mandatory for the IBF, if I'm not mistaken. He could be, but that's where his political status is for him trying to get closer to the world title. But yeah, Jaron Ennis, he's a freak. He's a freak of nature. He has great athleticism. He definitely has a lot of great things in his toolbox. Um, Definitely a pure, natural switch hitter southpaw. That's how I would basically see him. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about him. So let's get with the topics at hand. I have a total of 9 topics. The first, well, from the first to the last topic, will be the eye test, boxing ability, defensive ability, ring IQ, footwork, power, chin, the ability to take a good shot, the intangibles, and then the strength of resume. So yeah, let's get right into it, shall we? So first off, let's talk about the eye test. Um, Ever since I watched Jaron Ennis, he's always been a very, very good fighter. I've always viewed him to be a very, very high level talent. For what he's been doing, in boxing, he's done a very, very good job to keep his name active. But if you were to ask me as a casual, what do I think about Jaron Ennis's fighting style and him as a fighter? I would rate it to be a solid 10 out of 10. I think he deserves that. I think Jaron Ennis has proven himself to be at that level. Um, he's not like your typical standard, like, oh, check him out. He's going to be like the next big thing, but he's done what he had to do to get there. Like, he's not like this type of talent where everyone thinks that he's going to be great, but then if he's not putting in all the hard work to get all the biggest names in boxing, then that's pretty much what Jaron Ennis isn't. He's a very, very good young talent, and he wants all the big, toughest names in boxing. That's a throwback fighter, and that's what I like out of guys like him. He sets a huge milestone in the historic level of him being up there with like an all-time great. And I think he's just getting it started. He's starting his career out in the right path, and the eye test is a solid 10 out of 10. Um, so yeah, let's talk about the boxing ability. This is a little bit more. This is a little bit more confusing. Um, I would have to rate his boxing ability to be a solid. How should I say? I'll probably go with like a 9.5. I think his boxing ability is tremendous, but the problem with it is just that he's not utilizing it enough to the level of which we want to see him, be in like all the problematic situations. So I think boxing ability would be better, but sooner than later, it's just all about making sure you're at that level to which you want to put yourself in the proper position to utilize like your boxing skills at level to which you. Oh yeah, look, I'm sorry. But basically, in regards to his boxing ability, it's a solid 9.5. It's just that he has like a little bit of tweaks here and there, and he should be using a lot more. How should I say, high level boxing skills, but I don't think it's really needed because most of his opponents were just basically opponents that he basically can just blow right through, and don't get it twisted. Like, I mean, he would very well use it, in the sense of what what people want him to do. But I think honestly, in regards to what what people want to see out of him, the boxing ability is not really needed, and he does a good job putting it on a high display. But I mean, I think honestly, it's just that type of that type of current incentive that he does to keep himself, in the loop for him to be, busy enough for him to just do the things that he wants to do to be successful. So I'd say 9.5 on my end. It's great. It's not like low tier. It's not mid tier. It's definitely a high tier. He definitely knows how to use it well, but it can definitely be shaped up a bit. So it's a solid 9.5. Now let's talk about the defensive ability. Um, his defense is a little bit shaky, and like surprisingly, I'm gonna have to give this a solid 8.5. I think his defense can be better, but the problem is just that he's not using his defense to the level that we want to see it at. And I think that's gonna be, that's gonna be tested when he starts being in there with like actual like pressure fighters that could punch, or true boxer punchers that actually know how to use their size, height, and reach advantages over him. But I just think that the defense is not as flashy as people wanted it to be, or not as polished enough. So I'd say it's a solid 8.5. It's definitely B level. He definitely knows how to put himself, in the right position to not get hit, but it's like he's, obviously fighting like the lower tier, opponents, to which like obviously like people know that Jaron Ennis, he could put on a good show if he wants to, but if he's going to get hit in the event of him trying to get like him trying to go for a knockout, or him trying to, display a high level boxing clinic of using pure boxing ability, then I think that's where the defense is a little bit shaky. Like it's not bad. It's just that he needs to just be put up there, with like the higher level competition, and then that's where the defensive like ability could be like either like a 9.5 or 10 out of 10. Because I think his defense is solid, but it's not like super duper solid. It's definitely the typical above average type of defense that any standard boxer needs to be successful in the sport. So 8.5 on my end. But let's talk about the next topic, the ring IQ. I think for the ring IQ, his ring IQ is amazing. I'm gonna give this a solid 10, just simply due to the fact that Jaron Ennis, he has amazing ring IQ when he uses it, and I think like as far as what we've been seeing from his previous oppositions that he has fought, out of the toughest fights within his last three fights, I would say the Sergey Limpinets fight was a very difficult fight, but Jaron Ennis utilized so many adjustments to be made to disable the ability that Sergey Limpinets brings to a fight to try to stop somebody or to hurt them. And I think honestly that the problem is just that we're not really seeing what the true talent of what he can possess, because Jaron Ennis, he obviously says it himself that he hasn't shown us true hardcore boxing fans his true, actual talent. And I think that's very shocking because he has so many things that he's working on right now, and he's looking better every time he fights. And that's what I like out of him, because I think, surprisingly to me, I think every time when he comes back to the ring, he's always back on a nice level where he's not like the same type of style fighter. If you get what I'm saying, I think Jaron Ennis, he knows what he's doing in the ring. His father, Bozy Ennis, great, like a great trainer, in my honest opinion. Very, very, very similar to like a Derek James, type of trainer. Like he doesn't play around. He has some really, really good fighters, under his wing, in which I'm probably gonna do some videos on. But yeah, Bozy is like a crazy good trainer. The skill set that we see at a Jaron Ennis, that's definitely a huge 10 out of 10 for that ring IQ, because his father really taught him very, very well to prioritize certain things to be successful in the fight game, and that's something that I definitely have to give him credit for because nobody else is really doing what Jaron Ennis is doing. So that's a solid 10 out of 10. I definitely respect him for that. Um, let's talk about the footwork. The footwork, I'm gonna have to give this a solid 8. Um, it's not the greatest footwork. He's a bit flat-footed at times because he's not really like keeping himself away from shots that he shouldn't be eating up. But I think it's simply due to the style. I think it's probably just due to the fact that he's not utilizing his fullest potential that we want to see out of him. And I think until that happens, like that's when things will start to be put to a better level, and then that's where I could say, yeah, his footwork is definitely a solid 10 out of 10 because Jaron, when he does move, he moves like a how should I say? He moves like a super lightweight or he moves like a lightweight to the point of when he does use his footwork, like his footwork is on point, but I don't think he uses it enough because it's due to the level of opposition where they're not having to move their feet a lot and most of them just come forward. So if you're Jaron Ennis, why would you want to box somebody? Like, obviously, like if somebody doesn't deserve to be in the ring with you, you obviously don't need to use a lot of footwork for you to stop them. So, I mean, I think honestly, like the footwork is just a solid 8 out of 10. It's nothing special. It's just that Jaron Ennis is not there to use his fullest potential to the point of he wants to use it, but it's not going to be up against low level opposition. So he's just keeping everything inside of the tool bag for now, and he's only using like 50 to 60% of what he's doing. And hell, I mean, Jaron Ennis even said that he doesn't he doesn't even have all the skill set that he wants to show everybody how good of a fighter he is. He's not even going 50%. That's what he would even he would even say at times. He says that he would only go at least 20 to 30% of his like he would exert at least 20 to 30% of his complete skill set as a fighter to say that he isn't really trying, but he's just giving you a little glimpse of how much better he's getting every time he's coming back to fight. Because if it is going to be like a dangerous level fight, like I don't know, like a Errol Spence, or I'll use I don't know, like theoretically, like if he was able to fight Terrence Crawford or Danny Garcia or any other high level welterweight, like like a Keith Thurman, definitely, definitely Keith Thurman. Um, I mean, those names, he's definitely gonna fight a lot more different, and he's gonna he's gonna show something that we haven't seen before. So, I think like the biggest thing for Jaron Ennis's footwork is just that it just needs to be used, more. He definitely has it. He definitely knows what he's doing in there. He's not stupid. With his footwork, he positions his feet beautifully to the point where when he needs to box, he's gonna box. But then when he switches and he does it while he's moving, he's not like Terrence Crawford, where while he's fighting, he just plants his feet and then switches back and forth at times. But he only does it to certain degrees of when you switch it, you are put to a certain level of being a standard switch hitter. But for Jaron Ennis, he does it while he's moving, which is very very crazy because it's like you don't really see that too often from fighters that are natural switch hitters. And I mean, even for guys like Marvin Hagler, when he switches, he he did it when he had a shot, position at the right time. But Jaron Ennis, he's like the rarity breed of a true natural switch hitter, breeded southpaw fighter, like in my honest opinion. But yeah, for the footwork, I'm gonna have to give that a solid 8. I think that's a good solid grade. But now let's talk about the power. I got the power. Woo. Man, I should probably get like a little, video clip for that. But nah, man. Basically, for the power, I'm gonna have to give that a solid 10. His power is definitely unmatched. He hasn't fought with the best competition, but that still doesn't mean he could still blow dudes out because you are a professional at the end of the day. I don't believe in this whole prospect, nonsense where fighters are, just basically level to a certain classification. And there's a reason why these quote unquote fighters get a lot of quote unquote knockouts over certain fighters because, oh, they were a prospect or they were a soon to be contender, but they weren't ready yet. Nah, you are a professional at the end of the day. And if you get knocked out, that's on you because you didn't prepare yourself for that level of you getting hurt. And when you don't have that type of mindset to know what to do when you're in the position of getting knocked out, that's what causes you to be put in a really, really bad position where you end up getting stopped. But, um, just based out of Jaron Ennis's whole resume, him stopping 27 of his 29 opponents leading up to date, that still doesn't stop him from being a heavily skilled fighter to utilize the skill set to get these knockouts because anybody can get a well, I wouldn't say anybody can get a knockout in boxing because there are people out there that have a decent power, but it's like like if you don't have power and you haven't stopped anyone in your career, then you don't have any power. Like there's going to be a point where somebody's going to dog walk you and you're going to be knocked out because power is not just only subjugated to how much deadly punch that you have to hurt somebody and knock them out. Power is also leveled on how much sting in your punches or how much deadly force that you have within the punch that you could pertain yourself to sustain in a fight to keep somebody off of you. That's what power really is. But as far as Boots per se, I would rate him to be a pure boxer, like a boxer puncher that likes to box more than he actually likes to bang. But Jaron Ennis has shown that he can box and bang at the same time, and he doesn't need to go to that level of him trying to knock somebody out. It's really more to the level of which, every fight is different. He doesn't he doesn't need to, exert it to another, degree. He he does what he needs to do to get the victory, and that's what I like out of him. That's a veteran style type of fighter. Like you just go in there, try to get the victory, and hey, if you can knock him out, knock him out. And I know some fighters like to say, look, we don't get paid for overtime, but why keep somebody keep somebody in there with you when they can't keep up with you? So, that's why power is important to that degree, but it's also due to the boxing IQ as well, or what you do boxing wise. But yeah, power. I'm gonna give that a solid 10 out of 10. The chin, same thing. I would give his chin a solid 10 out of 10. He has been buzzed before, but his chin is really, proven to be made, for, those potential hard shots. Sergey Limpinets, even though that's probably not like the best example, but when he did clip Jaron a couple times, Jaron Ennis, he took those shots very well, and I don't really see him, eating that many shots because his defense is really not like super duper bad. It's actually very good. It's just that when he's in there with guys that he can take those punches and do what he needs to do to be successful, then that's where his chin is very good because he knows where to position himself from those punches that you don't see coming. So I think his chin is definitely there, and I think he knows what he needs to do to be successful. But I say at the end of the day, he's never been down. He's always been, standing up in every single fight. And, the only person that ever really came close to really hurting him was probably Sergey Limpinets. But Sergey Limpinets, he wasn't able to do anything. So I mean, at the end of the day, Sergey Limpinets is like the only guy that really, you know, buckled him, a little bit with his shots, but he wasn't able to keep up with Boots, and Jaron Ennis did his thing. He dominated him. But either way, Chin is a solid 10 out of 10. Now let's talk about the intangibles. The intangibles, I'm going to give this a solid 9.5. I think Jaron Ennis is a tremendous talent, and I think the intangibles out of his whole skill set is definitely there. It's just he just needs to be tested up there with all the top dogs, all the sharks, and I think eventually we're gonna see the best version out of him for quite some time. I personally believe after Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford get their business going, which I've been hearing that the fight is quote unquote made, which I will do a video on that, and I'll probably talk about some other stuff. But that's what I hear. But I do believe that after the winner beats each other up for undisputed, I think Jaron Ennis is going to take over 147 after Errol and Terrence Crawford get their business settled. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think Errol and Terrence Crawford, they're going to fight once at 147, and then the winner will probably move up. And then if they want to rematch again, they'll probably do it at 154. But I would like to just see it be twice. Like, if Terrence Crawford can get at least like a 2 fight or 3 fight deal in with Errol Spence, I think that's a proper mechanism to have that set up, on a proper date, but or a proper time frame. But I think for Jaron Ennis's case, he obviously doesn't want to be waiting. So I think that the best move for Arrow is that he should vacate, the belts and move up to 154 because you beat because let the winner who beats each other between Arrow and Bud, it's like why would you want to fight again when like a guy like Jaron Ennis can easily screw up those plans where he could petition to the IBF and say, hey, look, I don't want to be waiting. I want to I want to get like my damn shot. Like I'm not going to be waiting up on these guys any much longer. Let them settle their business, and then the winner could either move up or face Jaron Ennis or face whoever's going to be mandated to fight them, and then they could go for a rematch. To which I think that's like a good thing to do, but that's also risky to do too. Because think about it: if you're Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, you've gone to war with each other, so now that makes it easier for Jaron Ennis to get ready, get his body all worked up, and then he has all the breathing room to know what you did wrong or what he can do, up against you to beat you. So I don't know, man. Like I think personally, like at the end of the day, there's just so much pressure between Arrow and Bud, where the winner of those fights, we already know, they could definitely move up to 154. And I think that's what Arrow's gonna do. He basically is gonna basically leave the division wide open for Jaron Ennis. And I mean, I personally think it like I personally think that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, they should fight each other at least 2 to 3 times. And while Jaron Ennis, but that's if Jaron Ennis can wait it out. If Jaron Ennis doesn't want to wait, then the winner of that fight could either make the decision to vacate their belt for Jaron Ennis, because Jaron, he's probably going to be the mandatory for either of those sanction bodies, which will probably be the IBF. But either vacate for Jaron to get his title or fight him, get him out the way, which isn't going to be a very easy, accomplishment to do, and then potentially fight each other again for undisputed, for the winner of that fight to basically fight each other. To which to me that's like super risky to do, because it's like Arrow and Crawford, they already know that Jaron Ennis, he's not gonna definitely wait, another year or so, or however many months that it's going to take for a rematch for Errol and Bud to happen. So no matter how this contract negotiation went down, I don't know how it's gonna go down, but if it's like a 2 fight deal, I'm fine with that. But at the same token, if Jaron Ennis, if he says no to saying, look, I'm not gonna wait and take any step aside money and I want my shot, don't be surprised. I think that's what Boots is gonna do, and I think Jaron Ennis, he could easily upset either Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, but it's just the time frame, because Jaron Ennis leading into 2023, he's gonna want to get his title shot, and I think by that time frame, we're gonna see him in there with all the best level competition very very soon. But it's like for him to wait, another like 4 to 6 months or closest to a year to get that fight, for his IBF title shot between Arrow and Crawford. I think it's best for the winner to move up and just let Jaron Ennis take care of take care of his business against any other ranked contender for the IBF belt. Yeah, for the IBF belt vacancy. So yeah, that's very much how I believe it. I guess like we'll find out, as like the years go on. But I can definitely see Jaron Ennis being a world champion very, very soon after the fight between Errol and Crawford is settled. In which that's what I'm hearing, that the fight is quote unquote finalized and made, but I could be wrong on that, and that could all be smoke and mirrors. But if the fight is made and we do get a fight date in which I would hope they would make an announcement now or later on this month, and then on top of that they can also start promoting the fight, in which to me personally the fight's already sold. Like that fight's going to be sold out. That fight is going to be bought up with at least 500,000 pay-per-view buys. I can easily see that fight being the fight, like literally the fight of the year contender. And then on top of that, it's also going to be the fight of the century, and it's going to be a classical fight next to Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler, or Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns, or Hearns versus Hagler. That's how I would see Crawford and EJ basically battled out. It's basically going to be like a Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao type of fight, as far as like the market, yeah, as far as the marketability goes. Um, Hey, how's it going, Majestic Hero? You were saying, which fight are we talking about? Oh, I'm just talking about the potential fight between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. I was basically saying that if this fight does get made, that's going to be like the biggest fight out of the welterweight division, and whatever we see out of the welterweight division, that's going to be like the most historic fight next to all the big fights, between Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard, and what else, Tommy Hearns versus Hagler, and all the greats. So I'm basically making I'm just making like the basic statement to say that when they do fight, if the fight is made, that magnitude is definitely gonna either be up there, or it could very well, hyper extend over those numbers. Because to be honest, this fight will be, a high level pay per view, buy type of fight where, I'm pretty sure the pay per view is going to be at least $80, if not like closest to, $100. But if they're gonna fight out in like Vegas or wherever, that's gonna be lit. It's gonna be super epic. And personally, for me, I really wish I could go if I was able to go to boxing fights. I really wish, honestly, like boxing, like boxing promotional stables or like networks, they could like work with YouTube content creators, and like they could like pay you to go to boxing fights to cover it. Like, I would personally like to do that. But like I'm pretty sure guys like Champside and Blue Blood and all those big time YouTubers, they're able to do it. But on top of that, it's a huge mega investment to do, because it's like you're putting yourself at risk to go all the way out from one state to another state, and then on top of that you have to put so much money down that the level of how much money that you're having to spend to go from your home of where you're traveling from to that state of like or to the venue of where the fight's going to be built, or the fight that's going to be made. That's what's going to be like the financial aspect behind it. But I think either way, like personally for me, like if it was that much easier for you, for you to go to boxing fights, as it is for you to go to a NBA basketball game or a football game, I would definitely do it more. To which I'm actually going to like my third fight in a row. I'm going to the Edgar Berlanga versus Alexis Angulo fight. That's over in the Madison Square Garden. But yeah, but for fights like that, like I would like to do that, at a all time regular. But it's just like going to those big level premier fights like a EJ versus Bud, or let's just say a Devin Haney versus Tank fight. Those fights are obviously going to be like way out there, in like Las Vegas or probably anywhere that's going to sell big. But anyways, yeah, like I really hope that fight does happen, because I want to see Errol Spence, fight Terrence Crawford, and I think that's going to be like one of the biggest fights in the welterweight division. And yeah, that shit's going to do big ass numbers, hands down. I think it's probably going to do at least 1.5 million pay per view buys, and if they do like a rematch or a trilogy set, that's going to be at least like 3 to 5 million, all together. But either way, back to Jaron Ennis's Intangibles, I would give it a solid 9.5. I think he deserves it. I think Boots is the future of boxing, but he just needs to prove it. That's all. He has tremendous skill set, but Jaron Ennis is just that type of dude where he's basically being prevented to fight all the top big names, because everybody knows how much of a danger he is to the to the welterweight division. And I think he's in the same boat as Errol Spence was back in the day. And I think Jaron Ennis, he understands where his positioning is in boxing. But I think eventually, once he gets up there and once he starts selling out and he gets a couple titles here and there, he's going to be popping. He's going to get so much marketability increase where, everybody's going to be behind him. And I think everything that you see now, it's just going to be bigger. Jaron Ennis can literally sell out anywhere, wherever wherever you put him, if he's able to sell, which I do believe he can sell, because people already know who he is. You already got guys like Floyd Mayweather talking about him. You got all the legends talking about him. You got people like myself, in which everybody out of the YouTube boxing stables that are factually consistent. We do actually care about him, and we actually want to see him rise and see him be successful. That's good on him, and that's good on the marketability for where he can fight. And I think when he does become a champion, I would like to see him fight down in Philadelphia and then bring his talents up here to New York, and then possibly maybe go back out West Coast, maybe go back out to California, probably do that. And then I would definitely like to see him down south, down in Atlanta, Georgia, Texas, have it down in Florida. Oh my God, dude, Jaron Ennis down in Florida, dude, he would pack that out insane. But it's just that his marketability is just getting up there so fast that honestly, he doesn't need to be boxing no more. He could literally just quit boxing after he gets a couple titles, and then boom, he'll be like a Hall of Famer right then and there. But obviously, that's not as easy. That's not as easy to do that, because Hall of Fame status is very difficult. But on top of that, I just think where he's at right now, he's definitely on the Mayweather protege train, where people know who he is now, and The only things that are left is that he just needs to start building his career up. So that way we could see Jaron Ennis take over multiple divisions, and then we could say, wow, like that dude is like super dangerous and nobody doesn't want no parts of him. Uh, yeah, Majestic Hero says, I want to see Boots versus Virgil Ortiz. Yeah, like I want to see that fight, but I think honestly, like that fight needs to happen now if Virgil can, be medically healed from his medical situation that he quote unquote had. Because I don't know if you guys had heard about it, but when he was supposed to fight, I believe AJ or no, Michael McKinson, um, he had suffered some, organ like I think some medical issue within his organs, and I think it was like some form of like organ failure, in which it was technically due to him trying to drain, down to 147 because like Virgil Ortiz. For those of you guys that didn't know, he was basically like missing weight for the past like how many fights? He basically missed 147 weight limit several times. But I'll just go back to his box rec because the facts don't lie. But yeah, basically, he's been missing weight as far as like coming in a couple pounds over. But that's what I've been hearing, like as far as like what he's been doing. But yeah, like Boxrec has been actually posting it to say that he's been making weight, but I don't really believe that. But leading up to definitely the Maurice Hooker and the Egis Kavalauskas fight, he definitely missed weight back to back. I knew that for a fact. But when he did miss weight, you could easily tell that when he was rehydrating, he looked more of a 154 pounder or to the very least a middleweight, because Virgil Ortiz, he's not properly hydrating to the level of which he's supposed to fight at his natural weight. And for those of you that probably talk to fighters or see fighters train or know people that probably go to boxing gyms and see how some of these fighters be training, that's very, very dangerous to do, because Virgil Ortiz, for what he's doing, he's probably coming up or he's basically cutting from a higher weight. Like I'd probably say maybe his walk around, my wild guess would be at least like 165 or 170, because that's basically what Jaron Ennis is doing. But Jaron Ennis, he stays up inside of the gym consistently. He's not blowing up in weight. Versus with Virgil Ortiz, he's probably going through fat camps or probably not putting himself in the right position to at least be like I would probably say at least 10 pounds over 147. So that way you're not having to drain all that weight down. Because think about it with Rolando Romero fighting Gervonta Davis. He said literally that he had a fight back like I think it was back in the past where he cut all the way down from 180 to 135. So you mean to tell me from 180 pounds to 135 pounds, you are cutting 45 pounds of your fat. And then on top of that, the muscle that you have on top of it, that's draining you to get down to 135. But for some weird reason, with a guy like Rolly, he's still able to put dudes to sleep. But it's just that for him to do that, it's like that's not healthy to do, because it's like you can't just tell me that if you're gonna get prepared for a fight, you are going to just cut that much weight and that much muscle and that much hydration for you to be like super duper small, and basically your body almost looks like a like a emaciated skeleton, honestly. Because I don't even know how guys like Jaime Munguia, he makes weight and all this other crap, because we've seen several fighters where they almost legit pass out at weigh-ins. Look at it with Mikey Garcia. I think it almost happened with Omar Figueroa, if I'm not mistaken. And it's definitely happened with Jaime Munguia several times. And now just take a look at it, take a look at it with Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz, he's definitely not a true one, he's not a natural 147-pound fighter. He's the type of fighter where he's supposed to fight at least, to the very least, 154 or 160 or possibly 168. I don't know, but for him to have these medical issues coming up with his most recent fight build up with Michael McKinson, that just pretty much shows that not a lot of these fighters, they're fighting at their natural weights. And I personally don't like that, because it's people want to call those people weight bullies, but I don't really call them that. I just call them basically, weight abusers. They're basically weight cowards. That's basically what they are. I personally think that, yeah, granted, if you can make the weight, fine. If you can do it, that's if you can do it and you can make it at a healthy state. But if you can't make it at a healthy state for that weight, you need to move up. Obviously, if you're not able to take the punishment and you're looking drained and you're not looking you're not looking like your regular self, where you're able to go to war for 12 plus rounds or 10 plus rounds or however many rounds that you can do, then you're not built for that weight class no more. But it's I don't understand in boxing that these commissions or these sanction bodies would allow the medical processes for a fighter to keep draining themselves down to a weight class that they're not supposed to be certified to go down to. Because at least for for my understanding, for other combat sports like wrestling, in wrestling you get certified for your weight, and especially back in high school, before you get cleared to go out and wrestle for your high school seasons, you have to be certified for your weight to know how much weight that you can cut for your height and for your I guess your physical capacity. And the thing is that when you are a certain type of height and a certain type of age, obviously, because as you're younger, your body's going to start naturally growing, and then you're going to start getting into your natural man strength eventually. But at the high school level for wrestling, they certify your weight to see how much weight you could actually burn in terms of body fat for you to for you to be naturally fit enough. And for my case, even though that for me myself, I've definitely bloated up a lot in weight, but it's not actual natural weight. It's just unnecessary fat. But for the most that I can cut down to, I can cut down for my height, because I'm about 6 feet, but I think I'm about 325 or 330. I can cut down from this weight to 190 pounds, for my height. But that's supposed to be my natural weight. But I would say to be a fully healthy built, 6 foot type of person, with a good lean, stocky frame, I would say 215 pounds. That's a good, average age type of weight, because I'm 27. But that was back in high school for me. But I think for boxing, they should have that. They should definitely have weight, weight cut limitations for you to cut down to a certain weight. Because if you're trying to make a certain weight where you're having to starve yourself to get to it, you should be prohibited to do that. And I think if boxing was more marketized to the level of having a league type matchmaking system where everybody has to be put to their natural weight class, to me personally, I would like to see that, because I personally think that that's really dangerous, and that's very stupid of a fighter that comes out of his or her way to try to drain themselves to a weight class that they can't make, or they're trying to make, and they don't look like the same fighter coming in. because they're looking sluggish and they're looking very, very, weak. I think that's due to the fault of not having a proper, marketized league central body to tell these fighters, look, you cannot make 135. You're coming all the way up, or you're coming all the way down from 180 pounds or 190 pounds. And you mean to tell me a man that can do that consistently, of having a fat camp over and over to do that, that's really, really dangerous. And that's very, that's very, very stupid. So I say that there needs to be, those type of major limitations to tell these guys and tell these, ladies to not be doing that shit, because you could easily kill yourself doing that. Boxing's not a very easy sport to go through, and boxing is very dangerous. You don't play boxing, you shouldn't be, staying at you shouldn't be staying in the sport for that long for you to take all that punishment in the head. And if you're having to cut that much weight every time you get back into a fight, that's very life threatening, and that's going to cause a lot more fighters to get killed. But yeah, that's another discussion. But either way, let's finish it up with the strength of resume for my boy, Jaron Boots Ennis. And yeah, we'll get up out of here. The strength of resume, I'll give it a solid 7.75. I think Jaron Ennis, he deserves it for a 7.5. It's not the best resume in the world. It's something to the point of which we obviously want to see Jaron Ennis at the high level. But the problem with him is just that he's not being given the opportunity, and he definitely needs to get his tough level opposition opponents sooner than later. And I think for his next fight, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Showtime and the PBC are trying to work together for him to fight Amantas Stanionis. So if that does happen, I will be very, very happy to see that. Hey, salute to you, Mo Boxing. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you, my brother. But yeah, that's pretty much how I rate it, and that's how I would like to say how that rating would be. But yeah, hey Mo, I pretty much gonna say, like, if you want to come in here and chop it up with me before I get out of here, feel free. Click the link. But yeah, like, I'm gonna just finalize this up and then get up out of here. But yeah, that's pretty much why I have it like that for his strength of resume rating. I think it's fair. It's fair for me to say that he's a good fighter. He definitely has skill sets, but the strength of resume needs a lot of work. I think it's solid. Like, it's obviously, like, not the best resume. He's just fought basically nobodies, where people don't want to see him in these fights, but he's only doing it for that reason, because nobody probably doesn't want to fight him at the time, and he's trying to do the best he can to try to get all the best fights. But I think personally, he will get his veteran level fights. He will get the guys by the likes of a Keith Thurman, or guys that are similar to the level of a Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, or maybe a Sean Porter like type of fighter. But I think that the proper next generation welterweight opponents for Jaron Ennis will be a fighter like Amantas Stanionis. I don't think Butev will be up there. I can definitely see Brian Norman, coming up to 147. He's going to be a problem at 147. Mark my words. I definitely see Shenard Bunch up there, even though I believe he's a 140 guy, but I believe he could definitely take over 47 if he wants to. But other than that, I mean, the welterweight division is loaded. You have a lot of good fighters, especially from the American section. I think you're definitely going to see the next line of welterweights coming on very soon. But looking at what I'm seeing right now, um, I think, honestly, the best names that Jaron Ennis will probably end up seeing at the welterweight division, in the top 50 at least, I would say a Connor Ben. He's probably going to see him. I don't see Connor Ben lasting long, but I see him getting knocked out brutally when he meets a guy similar to the top 10 level skill set. But yeah, Mo Boxing said, I'm at work listening. Damn, next time, look, my brother. Yeah. I just figured that I just offer offer the opportunity like if you were able to do it, but most definitely next time. You're more than welcome to come through, and me and you can always chop it up. Keep the content coming. Always enjoy watching it, bro. Yeah. Like I appreciate it. Thank you for coming through, and same thing to you, man. You make great content as well. But back to the Jaron Ennis thing. I think like as far as other players in the welterweight division, I think guys like Alexis Roca, he's gonna take over very soon. Maybe Abel Ramos, but I don't really see him scaling up well. I think Lucas Santa Maria. I think Santa Maria is gonna be a good player in the welterweight division. And then I probably say maybe Keith Thurman. I don't see your Dennis Ugas coming back. I think all that damage that he took from Errol Spence, he's like to me. I think Ugas is damaged goods. I don't think he's that good, and I think Ugas he's not going to be the same guy no more. That's just how I believe it. But if people want to say otherwise, that's what they could say. Um, Definitely, maybe Alexander Vesputin. Even though that I don't like the fact that he was a cheater at one point. That is subject to change if he's able to get back on track. But I don't think he's going to be a player in the welterweight division. But it will be interesting to see what he does. He hasn't been active lately. The last time he's been out or he's been in the ring was back on September 11th of 2021. So that's going to basically be literally 2 years down the books, or at least like a year. But yeah, like I don't really like that out of him. Maybe sometime later on in the future he could probably, get that opportunity to fight some top level guys. Maybe Paul Kroll. I'd like to see him face Marquise Taylor again. He had a split decision draw with him. They should probably run that shit back. But yeah, I think at the welterweight division he can definitely do some damage. But other than that, there's really nobody in here. I don't think Giovanni Santillan's that good. I think he's actually not that good. Um, Other than that, there's really nobody here. I mean, yeah, like you really don't have that many good names in the welterweight division left. But I think that's all subject to change because everybody from 140 is also coming up to 147, in which you got guys like Josh Taylor. You have maybe guys like Jose Ramirez, which I think he gets slept. Maybe Regis Prograis. I don't think Prograis is going to come up to 47. I think he's going to call it a day at 140. And then after that, I don't really know who else would really want to test up the waters, but I probably say that's about it. I don't really see anybody on here at 140 that will probably have up the balls to go up to 147. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Boots, man. I'm gonna get these numbers tallied up, and then I'll give you guys the final score. Mo Boxing says Boots has all the skills in the world, but how's his chin? Yeah, that's what I pretty much said about his chin. I gave it like a 10, but I think honestly, like that's subject to change when he when he runs into somebody that knows how to box and punch at the same time. And I think like honestly, the best example I can probably give you with his chin being a little bit like a suspect would probably be the Sergey Lipinets fight, in which Sergey Lipinets he was landing some heavy ass shots on Jaron Ennis, and Jaron Ennis he was taking them shits really really heavy, like he was taking them shits very very well. He was keeping his guard up too, and he was doing a very very good job, not taking a lot of steam out of those punches. But I think honestly, like his ceiling for what he needs to do to deal with heavy-handed guys. He basically needs to, like, tire those punches out, and then eventually he doesn't really need to feel those punches. And I think that's where his ring IQ kicks in, because he takes those advantages that you have and he makes them into disadvantages. So I think that's subject to change. I think like once we start seeing him in there with like heavy level punchers and guys that know how to box and use just as much as ring IQ as him, I think that's all subject to change. But I think his chin is definitely up there. Um, Otherwise, he probably would have been down before. He probably would have been knocked out several times, but I don't see that out of him. I think Jaron Ennis is definitely there, and I think he could do some damage. Um, but yeah, let me tally up these numbers, and I'll get up out of here. But yeah, like I just want to say thank you for anybody that came through. I'm definitely gonna probably do, maybe, I don't know. I was thinking about doing like a female one, but I don't think like that many guys would probably want to hear me do hear me do a female fighter ratings. But yeah, either way, like I figured, maybe try to mix it up like a bit. I think it's probably just better that I probably stick with the male side. But yeah, like I mean, if you guys want me to do a female side, I'll also do like a poll on that. Um, yeah, like I mean, I'll try to do like my best on that and try to be as impartial as possible. But either way, yeah, like I had like a lot of fun doing this. Definitely a good show, good chop session. Definitely had a lot of fun. Mo Boxing said the chin is untested. Ortiz, Ben, they hit hard. Not saying they beat him though. Not like yeah, like not many people are interested in girls, right? Yeah, like I just figured that I just put it up there just to show let the ladies some love, because like I love watching female boxing. But yeah, I'll just probably just keep that to like a later idea somewhere down the road, or I'll just keep it to myself. I probably don't see that to be like a big thing, but either way, I'll just get these numbers tallied up, and then we'll get up out of here. Hold on. Yeah, 9.5. All right, good. 7.75. All right. All right, got it. All right. Yes, sir. We have it. Yes, sir. That's a good number. All right. So, the final score for Mr. Jaron Boots Ennis comes out to be a 9.25. Wow. Yeah, like I would probably say that's a good number. Um, that's a very, very amazing number. Definitely subject to change based off of how he's going to be tested in the top level. But I think it's probably going to be higher, and I hope Jaron Ennis can do the things that we want to see him do. And I think honestly, he's like A minus or A level type of fighter. Probably soon to be S level. Who knows? But yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty much what I have to say about that. Um, I hope Jaron Ennis can be more successful down the road and continuing legacy, man. Like I would really like to see him fight one day. But yeah, salute to him and salute to Bozy Ennis, man. They're such a good team, and I respect the living crap out of them. But Mo Boxon said, I seen Clarissa angry tweet saying why women are not included in the four belt undisputed history. Yeah, I think honestly it's probably just due to the fact that no one really cares at the end of the day, because it's like, to me, like I do care about it, like I do have like my little talks here and there to give the girls a lot of shine, and I think it's necessary to a particular degree. But I mean, if women want to get accreditation in the sport and want their sport to be bigger, like you said back in the past, the women need to do it, not us men. And I think that's really where the problem goes with Clarissa's viewpoint. With what she's trying to do, she's trying to get the men behind it, and that's good and all. But it's like, if you're gonna get the men behind it, you have to also get the mass majority of women behind it too. And I think that's really like the biggest problem with her is just that she's having, a lot of, I guess, like, how should I say? She's having a lot of, concerns and a lot of issues of what us men think about women's boxing. Where similar to how women were complaining about why the WB like why the WNBA is not as good compared to the compared to the NBA is simply due to that same talking point, because no matter how much the women complain and say that women's boxing isn't getting enough shine, that's basically the women's fault because the women are their market. And to the most part, not many females really go to a boxing fight unless it's probably to see like a really good men's fight. But to the women, that's not something that the average female would want to do unless they get offered probably by some guy that wants to go to the fight, like to the fight with them, or they probably probably hear it word of mouth through somebody else that invites them to it. But either way, like uh that's at the females responsibility to come together to watch it. And yeah, Mo Boxing says it right on the money. More women need to watch it as well. Yeah, so I mean, I think honestly, it's more to do with the economical issue, rather than to say that honestly, the men need to start backing it more and all this other nonsensical BS. It's definitely like a female, like a marketability issue because not a lot of women really go to boxing fights. It's mostly men, and for the women that do go, it's usually it's probably usually to be invited by a man to go see a men's fight more than more than women inviting other women to go see a female fight. And for the most part, when I was there to go see Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, the genetic demographic shows that more men showed up to the fight than the females did. So I think that just pretty much shows it clear as day that boxing is still heavily dominated by the man or by the men, and yeah, we have more interest of going to the sport more. But it's not to say that the women can't blow it up too. They have the technology, but they have the influencing. There they just need to get the people behind it, and I think eventually it will get up there. We'll there will be a moment in time when women's boxing is just as financially stable to go on its own, just like men, to the point where you will see females go 12 round 3 minute fights or 10 round 3 minute fights. I would love to see that, but the problem is just people are too worried of what the men think about females boxing, and then women don't get enough women behind it to the point where these changes that they want to see for women's boxing, it's never going to be there because the men are not going to pick it up for you. You have to have the women drive the sport for it to be more empowered. So that's very much how I see it. I would love to see it big, and honestly, to me personally, if I had all the money in the world, I would do my best to try to promote it. I would, I would personally try to, do what I can to make it bigger. Minus sanction bodies and minus the corrupt, commissions. But that's pretty much it. Salute to Jaron Ennis. He came out to be a 9.25 for our final score for fighter ratings number 7. Much respect to everybody that came out in the chat. Salute to you, Mo Boxing, and salute to you, Majestic Hero. I'll give you a wrench, even though that this was the first time that you came on to the chat, but I made you a moderator. So if you guys do come back, you guys have wrenches, so nobody's not going to to put you out. But yeah, thank you guys for coming through. Salute to the mighty LDBC, and salute to my brother Mo Boxing, and salute to Majestic Hero. Please go check him out. He's a good gaming channel on the rise. He posts a lot of Mortal Kombat 10 content, if I'm not mistaken, and whatever type of content that he does. Yeah, he's a good YouTuber. Definitely check him out. But yeah, also check out Mo Boxing too. Very good content creator as well. And peace to you, my brother, as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. Thank you guys for watching, and salute to Jaron Ennis coming out of the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philadelphia, stand up, 215 Nation all day. That's it. I'll see you guys later for another tremendous episode for Fighter Ratings. And yep, I'll see you guys later. Peace, and I'm out.